Welcome to the Popish plot. My name is Nate. Today is Theology Thursday, and today, as part of our Lenten Final Four series, our plot is judgment. Now, judgment can be a tricky thing to try and talk about because there's really no good way for us as humans to understand the true nature of God's judgment. He's God, we're man. His thoughts are so much higher than our thoughts. His ways so much beyond our ways. But nonetheless, it's something for us to be mindful of. About a year ago, I was having a conversation with someone who was at that time a coworker of mine, and he knowing that I was a Christian, started talking to me about hell. Specifically his thoughts on hell. He found the whole idea of the concept of a hell to be not only ridiculous, but cruel. The thought that God would make man and then be willing to send man to hell, well, that's just cruel. And the fact that it was all over some arbitrary and unrealistic rules was even more ridiculous to him. And we talked for quite a while on this subject, and no matter how hard I tried, no matter what words I used to explain God's judgment to him, he was either unwilling or unable to see any of my points. Now, I've left that job and he's left that job and we've both moved on with our lives, but every so often I find myself wondering, what could I have said? Was there anything I could have said differently to help him see, to help him better know the God that I love and am trying to follow? And over that time, through my reflections and my contemplations, a story came to me. Now, it's not a perfect analogy, and I don't think that in the long run this particular story would have changed his opinion in any way, but I really kind of hope that it could have. So today is a way of helping you out there to understand the nature of God's judgment. I'm going to share it with you. I call the story The House Guest. So you have an acquaintance, someone that you know kind of well, but not very well, but you'd like to get to know them better. You decide one of the best ways for you to get to know them better would be to invite them over to your house. Have them over for dinner. You can talk, you can get to know each other a bit better, maybe you can become friends. So you invite them over and they agree and they come over, and from the moment that they get there, the whole evening just goes sour. They have nothing good to say. They complain about the neighborhood you live in, the way your house looks, your choices in decor. They don't think that you've arranged the furniture in the best way that you could. You get around to having dinner and the food isn't something that they would like. It's not cooked to their liking. If it was, it wouldn't have been cooked to their liking. And the quality of the food that you're serving is less than that of what they think they could find in a dumpster outside of a restaurant. But the whole night, all they have to do is complain. They disrespect your family. They're just really terrible house guests. So the end of the night comes, thankfully, and they leave. And you're disappointed. You'd really had hopes that this event would have gone better. They seem like nice enough people. Lots of other people like them. You would like to get to know them better. You're certain that perhaps they were just having a bad day. So you arrange with them to get together again. And you have them over, and unfortunately, this time is no different than the last. They're just really disrespectful guests. It's clear to you that they have no interest in being friends with you. Despite your interest in being friends with them, they could care less. And they show it in everything that they do and say when they're over at your house or when they're in your presence. So before the end of the night even comes, you say, look, you know what, I've got certain rules that everybody in my house has to follow. It's nothing serious, but could you just not be such a jerk? And they look at you and they say, rules? Now you're telling me I have to follow rules? They say, look, if you want to be like this, you don't have to stay. I'd like to have you, but you're more than welcome to leave. And he says, well, of course I am leaving. Why would I want to stay here? And the night ends poorly. It just did not go at all the way you wanted it to go. Here was a person that you saw redeeming value in, but when it came to you, well, they just really didn't have any concern. So time goes by, and then one day, in the middle of winter, the dead of winter, you're driving along and you happen to see them sitting on a street, cardboard sign in their hand, asking for help. It's clear that they're cold. They obviously haven't had a shower or bathed in some time. And looks like they also haven't been eating very well because they're looking a little thin, really kind of scrawny, and you feel for them. Despite how poorly they treated you, you feel sympathetic for them. So you pull over to the side of the road and you say, hey, let me help you out. You know, if you want, we can go to my house. I got some clothes that you could wear, some warmer clothes. I'm not using them. You're welcome to them. You can take a shower while you're there. I don't mind sharing. You know, get cleaned up. I've got plenty of food. I can make you a nice hot meal. Maybe if you want, you can even go to sleep on my couch for a night. Just get a decent night's sleep, someplace warm. And they look at you and they say, am I going to have to follow those stupid rules? And you say, yeah, it's my house. I'm going to have to insist on you being a decent person. I mean, you can't just come in and treat everything I have like it's junk. You can't go and treat my family like they're worthless. If you're going to come over to my house, I'm going to have to ask that you try and behave like as though you don't mind being there. And they look at you and they say, I don't need your help. I don't need your charity. Now, the whole point of the story is that all you want to do is be friends with this person. You wanted them to be a part of your life, and you wanted to be a part of theirs. You saw value in this person, and you wanted to let them know that you saw it, and hopefully they would see value in you as well. But this person had absolutely no interest in being your friend. They wanted nothing to do with you. And in the end, they would rather choose freezing out on a street corner than being your friend. Now, I have to say, in the case of any analogy made to relate things heavenly and divine to us men and women and people, it falls horribly short. There is absolutely no analogy I could make that would in any way be even remotely accurate. But what I can make is I can make analogies that provide perspective. God's judgment works a lot like this. We look in the catechism on topics like sin, and judgment, and hell, and every single time it points out these are things we choose. Sin isn't the consequence of choosing not to follow a rule. It's us choosing ourselves over God. Hell isn't some place where God puts the people that he thinks aren't worthy. It's a place where he is not. For all those people who in their lives strived to separate themselves from him. And judgment, while we may often envision a judge sitting up on a high stand, looking down on you, going, sinner, out with you. The fact of the matter is that in the cases of those people who go to hell, they walked right into court and essentially said, I'd rather go to hell than go to heaven. It's not really so much God's judgment on us, so much as it is our judgment against God. And we're terrible judges. So, as you go through your life, think very carefully about the actions that you choose. Are you living your life that is bringing you closer to God, that is letting God come closer to you? Or are you choosing actions that always keep God just out of arm's reach? So remember, go down below, hit the subscribe button, and click that bell next to it so that you'll get notified of future episodes. If you enjoyed this episode, please go down below and hit the like button. give us some affirmation of the work that we're doing. We really appreciate it. We cherish every single like that we get. So remember, until next time, live your faith, love your faith, share that love.